Getting really close to cutting this 1967 two-door truck in half to marry it to this crew cab bump side from 1971. This is a long bed truck. I'm keeping this frame. And I just went to Maryland to buy a highboy frame. To get the transfer case and the axles and everything from that. So right now I want to change directions a little bit. Y'all know I love to mix it up with my ADHD and work on my wife's car. So she has a 2016 Escalade that we bought for a pretty reasonable price. It has 100,000 miles on it when we got it, and it's like almost 10 years old already. It's 2025 now, so it's 9 years old. But pretty affordable car that's super luxurious and rides really good for the most part when it's towing, when it's got all the kids in there. But we want the stance to be a little bit better. It is low in the front, so we're going to throw a leveling kit on it tonight. And I'm doing that now because it's almost Mother's Day and her tires just showed up. I've been trying to get a hold of some Nittos for it, so y'all stay tuned for which ones we got. Pretty excited about it. Got the grocery getter pulled in here after shuffling all the trucks around with my old Honda Foreman 350D. If you know, you know. That thing's a tank. It's got a solid axle front and rear. First full drive four-wheeler that Honda made. Let me know what your favorite four-wheeler is. I'm a big four-wheeler fan. With the kids, we take them riding around on it, putting around on these little slow old 350s, but I do enjoy a nice fast four-wheeler too. So let me know if you got a four-wheeler. But this thing's in here now. I'm ready to lift it up. I have lifted it up a little bit, went underneath, looked around, didn't like where I had my rear pads positioned, so dropped it back down. She's ready to go up now. So we're gonna pick it up, get it to where everything's easy to work on, take the front tires off, and follow the instructions, which I left in the house. Gotta get those. But basically gonna put a little spacer in from zone to give this thing, I think it's 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of height in the front to level it out with the back that always sits up higher, even while towing, because it has helper airbags on the shocks. It's like a nice factory thing that works out pretty good. So with that, let's get her in there, see what we got. Really excited about this zone lift as well as the new tires. I did have to buy 2 front Goodyears to match the back Goodyears. This thing, I got it at 100,000 miles. Pretty fresh tires on it, but these little low profile 22s, they wear out kind of quick it seems. So the front ones, with my alignment not perfect, actually wore out on the inside edge. So opposite of this outside edge here, so I couldn't see it. Had perfect tread all the way on the outside in the middle, but the inside wore down to the cords, and I kicked myself for not, taking better care of looking at that, but I didn't rotate them either because I was going to get Nittos. But anyway, I actually got a flat. They wore all the way flat. The whole tire looked brand new, but the inside edge was getting worn with a bad toe out situation with the alignment. So had to put 2 new tires on it before my Nittos came in because I was trying to work with Nitto on this video. Shout out to Nitto. They did work with us. We got a fresh set of tires. So we're going to check those out here soon. But I did throw 2 new Goodyears on here to match the back ones. The back ones are getting worn out too, so it is time. And I can't wait to get these things on here, see if they ride any better, because this thing really doesn't ride that good, honestly. It's a little bouncy. It's real stiff with these, low profile. They are a 285, 45, 22, I believe. Let me see if I can. Yep, 285, 45, 22. Real big right there on the side. So I got the same size Nittos, but typically Nittos are a little bit more generous with their sizes. In my experience, they're slightly bigger. And the load rating and everything, I feel like it's going to be a good tire. All right, that ought to be good right there. Take this rig off, brand new Goodyear. It's got a Goodyear left on it, but we're gonna throw some even nicer Nittos on here. Real stoked about it. Brand new tire on this thing. So I'll be selling this set of 2 new tires, 2 old tires. Hopefully gonna recoup most of my money from the 2 new tires. That was about $700 mounted, balanced, and installed and everything. So Paid more than I wanted to for 2 tires, but they're 22s and they're expensive. And I put good tires on it. Wasn't sure when or if I was gonna be able to work a Nitto on this car, but I'm very excited that I was able to. So real stoked to get them new ones on here, and I'll compare them to these Goodyears. So like a pretty decent tire, but you know I'm a Nitto guy. I gotta run them, especially on my wife's car. She does a ton for Grappaholics, Grappaholics.com. She packs all the orders. She helped me come out with this new shirt, which this one was a prototype one, but this is the Stocks and Graps with a cat eye shirt on it. It's an addiction, so y'all be sure to check those out. The final product has a Grappaholics logo on the front. They are on Grappaholics.com right now while supplies last. So let me get the other side off, take a look in here, but I'm gonna be putting a little spacer at the bottom of the strut. I'll show you all that and we'll see the results. Just loosening the 3 upper strut mounts here. So 3 bolts that hold the strut to the frame on the top side, and then on the bottom there's 2 bolts that hold it to the lower control arm. That's where the spacer's gonna go. The instructions say to loosen these. I'm assuming so you can wiggle it and get in there just right. They're pretty easy to maneuver, and I got an 18mm wrench right in there without really messing with anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I was thinking about skipping this step just to see what would happen, but it's really easy. I'm just gonna do it. Yeah, all right, all 3 of those are a little bit loose. See if they need to be any looser than that. It says loosen, but do not remove. So there's a long range of threads between loose and remove. So I don't know how far off I need to take it, but that feels good right there. All right, so after 2 hours fiddling with this thing, I have this side of the leveling kit installed. It's a bracket, the spacer that goes on the bottom here. You gotta loosen up the strut. I'll show you this up close here in a second, but having a Coke with the homies, and I realized I had this Zone koozie that was already out in the shop from either something I had before or this actual leveling kit, but pretty excited about how this is coming together. It's taking me a while to do this one. Let me bring you over here. So lighting's not great, but you have the MagneRide bracket here. You're supposed to separate the ball joint here as well as the tie rod. So with that, there's quite a bit involved. Everything gets all loosey-goosey to fit this spacer in right here. So we got that in now. On this side, I'm going to go ahead and slap the tire on there, do the other side. I also need to install this sway bar link once I get them both on there. So I'm going to actually leave the tire off for now, do the other side, then the sway bar in link. So everything pretty much had to get messed with up here. So she's definitely going to need an alignment. So we'll go get that done tomorrow. What time is it? It is almost midnight, but it's Friday night. So might as well be doing this versus watching TV or something. So gonna go ahead and get this done. Got an appointment in the morning for tires mounted, balance, and alignment. So hopefully it all goes smoothly tonight. Taking off the little MagneRide lever that moves up and down on this bracket and kind of tells the suspension what's going on. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna keep the MagneRide system on this and get new struts for it at some point, because these seem a little tired. Maybe part of my bounciness issue. They look fine, but I don't love how this thing rides. So I'm going to start with the tires. Leveling kit may make it worse. We'll see how that goes, but we're going to see how the ride goes with that, and then I may end up doing something different like a Fox coil over in here. All right, so I got that little bracket unbolted. I got to take it off here. I also got to bend away this brake line and get it out of this bracket and do this ABS wire here. So get all that little stuff out of the way, and then I'm going to show y'all. I did this a little bit different than the instructions. I kind of just explained it the way you're supposed to do it, but I was able to get the spacer in there without taking the ball joint and the tie rod off. It took me about an hour to make sure that was going to work and verify that I had clearance on the CV axle in here. So I'll show you that here in a bit, but pretty excited about how that went. It should make this side really quick. My light is super bright on me. This part honestly went a little bit smoother on the other side. we almost had it. Gotta be quicker than that. So the spacer's in. Just gotta line the strut back up with it. There we go. So, don't have the bolts in yet, but without taking the upper ball joint out or the tie rod, pushing down on this and finagling it just right with this loose up here, you can get this spacer in here. So, see if I can get out of the light. Probably not. So, spacer's in. Now, the bolts are supposed to go, they're supposed to go from the top down, and you cannot get them, well, they'll line up, but you can't get them through the CV axle. So this one's got to go bottom up. And the reason it's supposed to go top down is because the head is smaller than the other end of the nut. But I spent about an hour checking the clearance on the other side with full weight on it, dropping the car down on that one side, all the way down, full droop, all the way up, as much of full bump as I can get it. It seems like I have enough clearance. The reason it tells you to put them in this way, it says because of clearance on the CV axle, but by putting this in upside down on the one side where I can't get it in there, it saves you from blowing the whole front end apart with the ball joints and the tie rods. So I will keep y'all updated if I have any clearance issues with that, but it looks like it's going to make this a lot easier. Here's our first look at it down on the ground. It's 1 a.m. and we've got this thing sitting on the leveling kit. And I am pretty stoked on that height. I feel like that's going to be really nice. It's looking like it matches pretty well. Now, I haven't driven at all since I set it down, so it may settle out even more. But excited to get the new tires on here. So I have determined I do need some new struts for this thing. The passenger side one is leaking, which is kind of explaining my bouncing situation. It's not slowing down the movement. It's just holding the weight with the coil spring there. The strut is like a shock and coil in one, you know. So with that, there is an option to do something like I'm doing on my truck, where it's the Fox coilover conversion and just totally get rid of that Magna rod stuff. So that's about twice as much. I was looking at it's like $2 grand for that versus $1 grand for new like shocks all the way around for this thing. So y'all let me know what you think I should do. For now, I'm just going to ride around on what I got. It doesn't ride terrible. It's just not ideal. For a Cadillac, you know, it rides like a Cadillac. This one does not. It rides like a diving board a little bit. So we'll see if it's worse with the leveling kit, but also we're putting some nice new Nittos on it, so might balance out. I will let y'all know. We're going to go get these tires mounted up, see what we think. Oh, and real quick, one thing I wanted to mention in this video. The headlights on this rig when we got it were pointing at the sky. Everybody was flashing their high beams at us. We're blinding everybody. So I opted to adjust them. Couldn't quite get them down far enough. They were a little bit out of whack. But when it came time to replace the front grille, because we hit a deer with this thing, I was driving, we were on our way to our friend's house and smoked a deer on this passenger side. So it took out the headlight and the grille, and thankfully we were able to salvage the rest. So I bought a blackout package. So I got a blackout grille, and then I painted the factory emblem. So this is my paint job versus the kit I bought. I feel like it looks pretty good, matches pretty well. Tons of bug guts on it right now. We'll take care of that tomorrow probably. But blackout grille, when I did that, I overcompensated and aimed these way down, so they were pointing at the ground, can't see nothing. So I'm hoping the leveling kit will kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Good tire fitment, nice look, and also fix our headlights. So I'll keep you posted on that as well. Shoo! Cadillac. Yeah, did the blackout grill. Still got some more things to black out. Got the new Tire Grappler G3s on this thing. Phew. What y'all doing? Unfortunately, that's gonna have to do it for this video. We already went out of town on one family trip, and we're about to turn around and do another in the Cadillac. So I'll be sure to update y'all on what we think of the ride quality, as well as how the tires compare. But I just have not had a chance to film any of that yet. And we are busy going, and I want to get a video up for y'all. So y'all be sure to check out the video of my Bronco I did kind of in between, and also come back for what we got going on in the shop, doing a 4-wheel drive conversion on my 1971 Ford Crew Cab bump side.